Meanwhile, the VP sweeps continue. Here is JD Vance, who I think if we all had to bet in this office, are we all betting on JD Vance being the vice president?
I guess. Who was it that Emma didn't think would be?
Nikki Haley.
Yeah, it's not gonna be.
I still have a little Bergamentum stock.
No way. No way.
I would love it.
No way.
It would be like Andrew Cuomo choosing Kathy Hochul, the most charisma vacuum rich guy.
Because you want to project some element of youth. And JD Vance, the only thing,
He's
like,
like 40.
look, there's two theories, right? There's like Donald Trump will never pick somebody who can be more charismatic or this and that. But let me show you what you do if you're worried that you're going to upstage Donald Trump a little bit. Also, remember that you're coming with a lot of good finance money and a lot of libertarian money, and you're trying to appeal to that sector. In fact, the best thing that ever happened to J.D. Vance was that the Libertarian Party people booed Donald Trump because maybe he perceives it as something that he needs to shore up. Well, what do you do if you're J.D. Vance and there may be some like, oh, am I going to upstage Donald Trump in some way? No. What you do is you just make sure that you make it absolutely clear that, look, you're the top ape. Here we go. And here is JD Vance showing just how much of a bottom he can be.
Sure. Show your tweets, show your past comments. I don't think the country cares about that, but I do think they care about the evolution in the sense of why.
Yeah, first of all, so
Trump pause it. I should say, JD Vance was critical of Trump before he became president. And probably during some of his presidency, I think. Well into it.
American Hitler sort of type of critical.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's not a friendly thing to say.
That's a break in the glass.
But JD Vance is going to explain how you go to an American Hitler to maybe the guy who picks me to be vice president.
The evolution in the sense of why.
Yeah, first of all, so Trump was just a very, very good president. I would say a great president, right? And I think when you look at something and you say, look, this guy was successful. He brought freedom. He brought a ton of prosperity to our country, peace on the world stage, right? Like, you didn't have a new war popping up every year. So I just think the results were so good. How could anybody look at it and say, oh yeah, I was critical of Trump in 2016, but he proved me wrong? So it's about the success of Trump's presidency, but I also think his presidency revealed, at least to me, how corrupt the media was. It taught me a very important lesson about how the media lies.
So I was watching CNN, and one of Kamala's former staffers says that they fear you the most. Why?
Well, I think one is, like, I actually do know what I believe, and I'm not afraid to say, look, I was wrong or I was right about this issue, but it's not talking points with me, right? Politicians are really good.
It's not talking points for me.
Why don't they just
I thought he was America's Hitler, and then I thought great president. It was actually the media that was lying, and that told me he was America's Hitler.
I mean, could they get any cozier? Like, maybe cover up with some blankets and some hot chocolate and talk about how much of a scary man he is?
No, this is Americana. So Americana. We're on the living room couch.
They fear you the most. Why?
Well, I think one is, like, I actually do know what I believe, and I'm not afraid to say, look, I was wrong or I was right about this issue, but it's not talking points with me, right? Politicians are really good at saying things very well, but not actually saying anything at all. But that's the Kamala Harris problem, right? So should it go around in circles, and then finally you sort of realize, like, oh, wait a second, I just listened to her for 10 minutes, and she didn't say anything. I think sometimes what Democrats do, they say, well, he just believes this because he hates poor people, or he believes this because he hates black people. And they really can't pull that with me, right? Because I grew up in a poor family, and I was raised in a working class community. So I do think there's something just about my biography that makes it a little bit harder for these guys to attack me. And maybe that's why they fear me. I just go out and try to do it the best I can. And if they're afraid of me because of it, I'll take it.
I'd recommend that everyone listen to Michael Hobbs and Peter Shamshiri, who was on the show yesterday on If Books Could Kill, their podcast about hillbilly elegy, because they go through it and establish very clearly that Vance is a class traitor who went to an Ivy League school as soon as he could and pathologized all the poverty of his family by saying it was actually their fault for being in the situations that they're in.
Oh yeah, exactly. It is basically like, look, this poverty's been here since the Kennedys were campaigning. Maybe it's our fault actually, though. Maybe we just need to stop blaming everybody else for our problems.
There it is. JD Vance, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we'll find out if he ends up being the VP. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.